Hello.
Hello, welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 174.
It is September 15th, 2013. So we're midway through September already. I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les.
I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
We're both wearing our Lucy shirts.
Are we? Yes.
Lucy the elephant. She's a local tourist attraction close to me in Margate, which is just south of Atlantic City. And Laura went when she was here this summer. And it's a total accident. I didn't even realize that until we started recording.
I was actually wearing another shirt earlier, and then I ate ice cream, and I spilled ice cream on it. Ben & Jerry's has a new flavor. It's called Triple Truffle. It's like chocolate ice cream with little truffles, like the little candies, and they're either marshmallow flavored, chocolate flavored, or caramel flavored on the inside. It's quite good. Not as good as half-baked, but, you know, or fish food.
Cherry Garcia is my favorite. Or Americano. It's also a good one.
I had Cherry Garcia last time. I have to switch it up for once in a while. I ate too much ice cream. I am the daughter of Wheezy. What can I say?
Yeah.
Alright, so knitting.
Yeah.
I have knitting. Do you have knitting?
I do have knitting. Not nearly as much as I had last week, nor as much as you have this week. So
Really?
No. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go?
It doesn't matter. I'm knitting in the round.
Me too. Okay, I'll go. That way, once we get to FOs, I'll just keep it on you.
Okay.
So, I have not touched my clapote, whatever however you say it, and I've had several people tell me, and I can never remember if it's it's clapote. It's on the O, not the P. Clapote. So, okay, haven't touched that since
I just
last
call it
week.
the clap, and I'm done with it.
Do what?
I just call it the clap.
Oh, well. I haven't touched that since last week. I started swatching and then knitting with the Madeline Tosh Chunky in the Jasper colorway.
I love that colorway.
I got this at Webb's on the way back from the Massachusetts Sheep and Wool this year. And I'm almost done with the body. So I have this much knitting done.
Wow! That's a lot of knitting, dude. What size needles are you using?
10.5.
That's a lot of knitting.
It's only like, I want to say 350 yards maybe that's been knit so far.
Wow,
So,
that's still a lot.
Um,
And did you add in waist shaping, or are you
I
just
did
doing
add
it
in
straight?
waist shaping, and I added in bust darts. You can kind of see here in the front. Maybe not. Maybe I hit them well, but you can kind of see the darts
Yeah,
here.
a little bit. Cool.
So I added bust darts and waist shaping and side shaping. So I have to get 2.5 inches from this marker, so I've got another 1.5 almost probably. And then I'll try it on and make sure that it fits, and then it's done in the Elizabeth Zimmerman method, so I'll knit the sleeves and then join it all together and go up.
Cool.
I expect it'll slow down this week just because nobody likes knitting sleeves, or at least I don't know anybody that likes knitting sleeves, but I will say that I'm alternating skeins. So it's in my one of my Amy Beth bags, and I'm alternating skeins
I think that's smart. I always alternate skeins with Mad Tosh.
every row because it's in the round, so it's super easy
Yeah.
to do that. And this yarn is fan-flippin-tastic to knit with. I really am enjoying it. It's very springy and bouncy, and it's not hard on my hands at all. It's really lovely wool to use, and it's actually a superwash, and even if it wasn't, I would still love it because it's just so beautiful, and it's got such a nice springy feel to it. I really love it. So,
Cool.
yeah, I'm almost done with the body of that. I really haven't been knitting anything else because I've really been enjoying the process of knitting this. I did do the ribbing on a regular size 10, the rest of the body on a 10.5, and that's pretty much all I've got for knitting.
What needles are you using?
Because I have nothing else. Not that there's anything wrong with these needles. I'm using my Knit Picks interchangeables, which I haven't used in ages. Just because I've got some other interchangeables that I like better, but they don't go this high. So this is a US 10.5. I don't know the millimeters, but yeah, they're working perfectly fine. I did have one other cable where the cable came out of the join.
Yeah.
So this is on my longest cable, which I think is 47 inches or something, 40 inches, something like that. So
cool.
That's it. That's all I've got for knitting.
You've been monogamous.
I have this week. I have been monogamous. Because
I was pretty monogamous up until yesterday.
Monogamous for Madeline Tosh, because
she just makes that sounds so like happy. It should be a slogan. Like Mad May, monogamous for Madeline Tosh.
So what about you? You have stuff.
I do have stuff. I finished something, and then which was basically all that I was working on this past week. I finished it yesterday, and then I decided to pick up a work in progress that's been, I'm trying to clear off old needles. So this has been on the needles since last December, I want to say. And it is a log cabin blanket, or the start of one. And it's using just various superwash wools. So the middle purple is Cascade 220 Superwash. The green is Vintage by Barocco. The brown is Superwash 220, and then this blue is Dreaming Color Classy. It's like the skein that will never end, because I knit a sweater and two hats.
Bad penny sweater.
Yes, and it's still going. So I have 2 strips done. I finished one, and then cast on, picked up for the next one. So my goal is to get at least 1 strip knit a week, because I would like to give this to Alice for her birthday. So if I get that, I have like 10 weeks, so maybe a little bit less. So if I could get 1 or 2, I really just want to do maybe 3 more colors. So that's more than 1 strip a week, I know, but just to get a couple done a week would be awesome. And it's easy, brainless, in front of the TV. I think this might be like Steeler game knitting, because I really don't even have to look at it, besides picking up. So other colors that I have, let's see. I have this bright pink. That's Zara. It's a whole skein. And then I have a dark purple, also Zara. And I have some 3 Irish Girls full skeins of that like purple and yellow superwash worsted that they did for they do a fundraiser every year.
Yes.
It's like Miscarriage, yeah, that one. From last year or 2 years ago, and then a bunch of other just random superwash skeins of yarn. So this is a good way to get some stuff out of the stash.
So you've got balls of yarn in there. How do you know you're going to have enough to do a strip on each side? And what happens
if I don't have enough to go all the way around, I'm going to do 2 strips. So, like, I'll do, see how these 2 are offset? Like these 2 at the bottom and the side, and then I'd pick up in a different color up here and do the same on this side.
So you're not going to be particular about it being perfect.
I'd like to have it go all the way around, but when it gets to the outer side, I do have 2 skeins in 2 different classy colorways, so 400 yards. So that should definitely go all the way around.
But in those little
so when it gets bigger, we'll see. The little balls should definitely, those should go all the way around on this side. Like so for next, this is the next one.
What makes you confident about that?
Because I'm doing, I didn't have a whole skein of this, and I still have this much left.
But you still have 2 strips
half
to
a skein.
Right?
Yeah, well, strip and a half. It'll be fine.
I'm just curious. No, I mean, I'm not trying to make you doubt yourself.
I could weigh it, I guess, as I went. Like, so I could do this strip, and then weigh what I have, and then what I have when I'm left, and that'll be approximately, add maybe 10% to that, and then it'll tell me how much a strip is. But the Zara, if I run out, I run out. Okay. It's really easy to rip out too, because you're just ripping back to
the beginning of that part, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a big deal. Says the girl who's ripping out all the time. Speaking of ripping out, So I started a hat, and it is the Drizzle hat by Melski.
Yep.
And I had cast on in the smallest size, and then I went and I was like, this seems really large. And so I went and I sent Leslie a picture earlier, and it was way too big. So I've recast on a 98 stitch count, and it's my fault. I think my gauge is off a little bit.
Yeah, so we should preface it by saying neither one of us really ever do gauge for hats, ever.
That's very true.
So.
I feel like I'm getting fine. So I was like an inch in, and I was like, that seems very large on my 16-inch needle, because I enjoyed knitting hats on 16-inch needles. So it's ripped out, and now my ball looks like a hot mess.
It's a pretty color, though.
Oh, it's gorgeous, and it's gorgeous. And even though, like, I was a little bit worried with ripping out that it would be like, oh, it's a single, and you ripped it out, and now it looks like junk, but it totally doesn't, and it's totally wonderful to knit with. So this is another TheKnitGirlls Simple DK in the Lagoon colorway, and I should have plenty to do the super slouchy long version. And this is going to be a Christmas present for someone.
It's pretty.
Must get all the Christmas knitting done early.
I'm very proud of you for sticking to it. Doing well.
Well, I still have one slipper done, not the other one, but that might be tomorrow during the Steelers game. All the knitting will take place during the Steelers game.
Steelers play Monday night this week.
They do. They play the Bengals Monday night.
So you have two things you're working on right now.
Yes,
but you finished something.
I did. I finished my clap.
Clapote. 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 Dang it! I can't ever remember.
And it looks like this. Oh. It's not been blocked yet. I am going to block it out. It is, let me put it on. So it's pretty big lengthwise. I would say around 5 foot maybe. So not tall enough really for me, but tall enough that if I want to use it as a scarf, it goes below my waist, which is awesome. And it'll grow a little bit when I block it. So I love the drop stitches. They were super fun. They make me happy. The camera's like, what is this thing that you are trying to make me focus on? It's just fun. I haven't decided yet if I'm keeping it or if it's going in the Christmas box. That's the wrong side. This is the right side. But I really like it, and it is out of Volmasa, and it was a heavy skein. So when I weighed the skein before I began, it was 160 grams, and this is in the RAUPE colorway, and I knit it on size 6 needles, and because it was a heavy skein, I measured it when I got to, so the straight rows call for 12 repeats of the pattern, and I measured it when I got 7 through, and I still had it over half left. So I was like, I'll be fine. So I did 14 repeats of the straight rows and literally had less than a yard left. So I was getting a little panicked towards the end. But I figured if I ran out with like 1 or 2 rows left, I could just grab some black.
Yeah, or you could decrease more rapidly. I mean, on the end, nobody would notice. Yeah,
so that is that. It's lots of fun to knit. I highly recommend it. And a fairly quick knit for me being monogamous on it. So it was, if you count the 10 extra grams, it was probably around 625 yards. So that I knit up in right around 2 weeks, a little bit less.
Cool.
So not too bad. Pretty fast knit. It really needs to be blocked though. Just to even out the stitches. Yeah. If that makes sense. Well, and get that curly craziness. Yeah. So blocking that will be tonight's endeavor, I think. Perhaps. I haven't decided yet. So that's all I finished, is the clap.
But you have some spinning too, right?
I do have some spinning, I had to think. I must call it finning too. So Sunday mornings, the last couple weeks, I have been blessed to hang out with my nieces via Skype. And so as I talk to them, I've been spinning on my turned on the cut spindle. And I'm spinning some Gourmet Stash triples, and this is what I have left of the second one. So that's the second of 5. So it's not the most even thing in the world because I'm like, oh, look, you can jump. Jump, Alice, jump. I get easily distracted as I'm trying to spin it. But the spindle is wonderful. It goes for forever. I'm loving the fiber. It's just been a fun project. So, and Alice can count to 10 now.
Ooh.
Because they play hide and go seek, and she has to be able to count to 10 to play hide and go seek. These are very important life skills. So, I spun that. I also still have on, well, what I still have on the wheel is I still have some alpaca silk from Gail's Art. So I haven't touched that, but that's still on the Hanson mini spinner. And I only have like an ounce left. I need to finish it up this week. And that's a gift for a friend. And then I spun some Finn. So this is Misty Mountain. It is the fiber for Expand Your Horizons this month. So Misty Mountain Farm. I picked it up at Maryland Sheep and Wool last year. It was kind of like an impulse buy on the way out. I saw it and I was like, that's pretty. I should buy that. And it's Finn, and that's one of our Expand the Horizons. So I picked it up, and I'm really enjoying Finn as a fiber. Like, it's squishy, but not like merino squishy. I think it'd be a fine sweater.
Okay.
And a less expensive sweater than like a merino sweater. And maybe the staple length, I would say, is, I'm going to have to look it up, but I feel like the staple length is a little bit, ooh, I have a book. Hold on. I feel like the staple, because I never clean up this room, I have a book that we reviewed. Welcome to my life. EFG. So Finn, the staple length is 3 to 6 inches. And it's 22 to 33 microns, so a little bit more,
Coarse.
I should say, yeah, more coarse, a little less fine. It's got a great staple length for combing, nice luster, which you can see, and takes dye really well, which is pretty obvious. But the luster they're talking about is that little bit of reflectivity.
Yep.
Yeah. It's sturdy enough to wear well, but often fine enough to be worn next to the skin. Finn is a great choice for sweaters, blankets, textured knit pearl patterns, and woven laces. It felts easily. And I will attest to the fact that it felts easily, because this was a little bit on the compacted side. I don't want to say it's felted, it's very compact, and that's a problem that happens a lot with merino wool, and part of it is I had it stored in the bottom of a basket, and so there was weight constantly pushing down on it. So, and I'm getting all the info on Finn Sheep from the Field Guide to Fleece, which is a fabulous book that we've reviewed in the past. But it's very compact. So what I'm doing to battle that is I sat and let me find some fleece. Here's some fleece. Some fiber. So let's pretend this is like squished really tight together. And so what I'm doing is I'm not pre-drafting it, like pulling it apart that way. I'm pre-drafting it by fluffing it sideways. So I have a nice, fluffy, airy, easier to draft piece of roving, or top. It's really top. So that's working out okay. It's not so horrible that it's unspinnable. It's definitely, you can tell, I stopped after 2 ounces because my thumb started hurting because I could tell that I was like pinching, really pulling, pinching on it. So, but definitely okay. And obviously it's my fault for storing it in the bottom of a bin of stuff. Plus it was squished in my suitcase to get it home, and everything gets squished in my suitcase to get it home from Maryland Sheep and Wool. I take like a very empty carry-on, like pajamas and a pair of jeans and 2 t-shirts and some other necessity stuff, but 90% of that suitcase is empty, so I can bring home all of the things.
I mean, I don't think you're alone there, so.
Is there anything else? Oh, I finished something. So I got 2 bats from Moonwood Farms at the Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival. And they were, let's see if I can remember, silk noil or silk ends, waist silk. That's what it was. That's what that is. It's the Kutsari silk, bamboo, alpaca, and Romandale sheep. I think that's it. And so they were 1 ounce each, and I had 2 of them that Rue gorgeously made. And so I spun those into a 2-ply, and it's very tweedy because that silk adds a lot of tweed and a lot of, oh, there's Angelina in there too. A lot of tweed and a lot of texture to it, and lots of sparkle.
You gotta slow down. The camera can't focus. Back up.
So
there you go.
I like it being close. So my goal was 150 yards because I wanted to do some fingerless mitts out of this. I actually wanted to do, in the Harry Potter knits, there's the Professor Sprout mitts, which are like short rowed and provisionally cast on, and I was like, that would be so cool for that because that texture, that tweedy texture, kind of reminds me of Professor Sprout. Mm-hmm. But I got 100 yards. So, and it's more worsted than a DK, I would say, in a lot of spots. So one of the tricks that I've learned when you have this silk, the waist silk bits in there, or big chunks of, anytime you have big chunks of a slippery fiber, is to kind of stop and make sure you're drafting it with the wool or the alpaca at the same time. Because otherwise you're just going to have big chunks of just pure silk, mm-hmm. or big chunks of pure bamboo, and it works better. It's more easily draftable if you combine it, in my mind, with the wool. So that made it a little bit more even, but it still has big chunks and big flecks because it's not perfect. So, but it was a fun spin. I spun on the Lendrum. The fin I'm actually spinning on the bug. It's the first time I've spun on the bug in a long time, and I'm really enjoying it. I had given it a full tune-up, like a full overhaul, taken it apart, put it back together right before SSK because it was being grumpy. Mm-hmm. I've just decided it does not like the bulky flyer.
My Maxwell's really doesn't like the bulky flyer either.
It has to, it's okay to spin singles on, but it really does not like plying on the bulky flyer at all. It gets very grumpy, which is fine. I'll just use the bulky flyer for going one direction, which is, you know, when I core spin or whatever else. But, or if I know that I'm going to use it to ply on, I will spin my singles the opposite direction to begin with. But anyway, this is my non-grumpy skein of 100 yards. So that is it for me and spinning this week. This is the first time I feel like I've really sat down and spun since SK. So it was nice to get back into it. It's
definitely the most, this week is the most that I've spun since SSK, absolutely. Because I had that 5.5 ounce braid that I'd gotten.
Yeah, how's that going?
Yarns. And I split it in 3 parts, and I spun each on my sidekick. And I spent like 30 minutes trying to get my freaking sidekick to, I had the sidekick bobbin, which has got plastic ends versus wooden ends that all the other bobbins have. And I tried everything to get that stupid bobbin to pull a leader in so that I could start spinning. I added a new leader. I changed the fiber for the leader. I changed the way I was tying knots. I did knots in 2 different directions. I did loops in 2 different directions. I changed bobbins. I tried adjusting tension, Scotch tension and the band tension, and nothing would work. And finally...
So what finally fixed it?
I used a regular bobbin, and it was like that.
Huh. That's so weird.
So I don't know that it was the bobbin, but I know that when I changed the bobbin, I had no problems. So I used my regular shocked bobbins, the all wooden ones.
Yeah.
And I spun the 3 ounces separately and plied them on... I spun them on the sidekick, and I plied them on the mini spinner because it has a huge bobbin, And I knew that it would be, and 5.5 ounces will not fit on one of the regular shocked bobbins.
No.
So,
that's very true.
not that I got all 5.5 ounces plied, because of course, as per usual, I have more left on the second and third bobbins.
Yeah.
So
totally normal.
This is what I was going for a 3-ply sock weight.
That's gorgeous.
It is not a sock weight at all. It is definitely a DK weight, and that's before soaking, so it might plump up more. We'll see.
Yeah.
But
it'll be pretty though.
I am happy with the way that it looks. I just wish that I had gone thinner, but I spun it in a week, so I should have known that it wasn't going to be a sock weight. Like, I have to take my time, really, if I want a sock weight. But it is really well balanced. It just needs a soak. But it was a real pleasure to spin. It drafted beautifully. I had no issues. I didn't have any felted bits. It was a wonderful spin. And this was from Storied Yarns.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll link her in the show notes. And this is the Mal colorway, which was a Firefly reference, which was why I had to have it.
My Neville Longbottom got bought, so I did not get it. I went to buy it and it was gone, and I was like, that's good.
Probably for the better.
Yes. I
real.
need no more fiber.
But, yeah, so I got 318 yards of a 3-ply from the main bit. I'm just going to Navajo ply or chain ply what's left of the other two. But I haven't yet, because I just did this earlier this morning, so.
That should be perfect. That should be just enough.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I'm going to wait until it's been soaked and then do a wraps per inch measurement to see what the true weight is. I would guess, see, like in some spots, like here, it's really thick. Like it's a worsted right there, I can tell you that. But then in some spots it's thinner, so we'll see. I'm going to measure it in a few different spots and see. It may not be for socks, but we'll see. Maybe it will. Maybe I'll just do a pair of thicker socks. We'll see.
Yeah, and be good boot socks.
Yeah.
Like welly socks.
Yes. But, that's all the spinning that I did. I do actually plan on pulling out my supported spindles this week because I have some Kiviat that I want to play with as part of Malia's New to You spin along, because I've had it for a little bit, but I haven't spun it because I've been afraid of it. So
yeah,
we'll see. I'm thinking about doing that. I still have some samples from a Flegel class that I took of a merino cashmere, so maybe I'll try that. We'll see. I just want to get reacquainted with my supporteds. So
cool. Very cool.
That's it for me.
Awesome. We have a book review. It is Reversible Knits by Iris Schreier. And she's knit a ton of things, but she has also written a ton of books. And she's best known for not only her books, but she's the owner, or she was at one point the owner of Art Yarns.
She still is.
Okay. And this book retails for $14.95 in the U.S., $15.95 in Canada. And its subtitle says Classic Style with a Modern Look. And it basically goes through reversible patterns using 6 different techniques. So 1 yarn, knit and purl, multi-yarn, knit and purl, lace, cables, double knitting, and modular knitting. And I think she's best known really for her modular knitting books. At least that's what I know her for the most part, and then also her lace work. So this book does have a basics section at the front. So what needles look like, what yarn care and yarn looks like, and then general knitting techniques like how to knit in the round, how to knit 2 colors. So this would be a book that a beginner could pick up and look at and say, okay, I can get started with this and I know what's going on. But it also has some more advanced techniques, obviously, like the double knitting, but also a Mobius cast on, 2-stranded method of casting on, slipping stitches, and just a lot of more advanced techniques as well. So with the 1 yarn knit and purl techniques, she goes through, everything starts with swatches. So she shows you a bunch of swatches that are essentially reversible, whether it be garter stitch or a twisted rib. Those are all reversible patterns. And then each section also has a pattern, a series of patterns that goes with it. And in this first section, there's the Brooklyn hipster scarf, which I think is super cute. Just a little something, which is, again, reversible. Everything in here is going to be reversible, and that uses, the yarn is, oh, it doesn't say yarns. Oh, how fun.
It will.
It gives weights.
It does. It'll tell you this pattern was knit with, well, it does in most of the patterns.
Okay. Oh, there it goes. So at the very end of the pattern, it says this project was knit with Art Yarn Super Merino.
Yeah.
And then if you're finding, and then it says to find equivalent yarn brands from other makers, see the yarn substitution chart on page 142. So that yarn substitution chart looks like this, and it gives you a bunch of similar yarns that you could sub for that yarn. So it looks like everything in here uses art yarns, which would make sense. And so for like art yarn silk mohair, you could substitute Kid Silk Haze or extra fine mohair by Bee Sweet or Kidzetta or mohair luxe. So all these mohair blends that might be found at your yarn shop. And I really like that. You can, you know, it gives you substitution things. Now, a lot of the art yarn yarns are pretty fancy. I love this headband.
Sparkly.
So it's got sequins and it's sparkly. And I like sparkly things. And it only takes 80 yards. And the yarn that calls for is art yarn beaded mohair and sequins. So a lot of easy beginner patterns in this first part. And then there's the multi-yarn knit and purl chapter, which again has swatches.
Yeah, and one thing I like about this, because it's a reversible knit, at the beginning of each pattern she shows you a picture of what each side looks like so that you can gauge whether or not you feel that's reversible enough for you.
Yep.
So this is for a fancy belt, late night gig.
And she also goes in how to add that belt buckle element in there as well. So that's very cool. Chapter 3 is about lace.
Yes.
And each section also has a little box at the bottom that says the projects in this chapter. So you can see right from the first page that there are 2 projects. Again, with the swatches that are reversible. And I really like the shawl, the Early Morning Allure shawl.
Yeah, I like that as well.
It's very pretty, and that's what the whole thing looks like. I like the variety of pictures. So it's not just one glamour shot. Like Leslie said, it shows both sides, but also it shows the entire piece just laid flat. So you can really get a feel of what it looks like. The charts are nice and big. Everything is charted that needs a chart.
I think that the most intriguing part of this book for me is the cabling section. So as an example, this is a cable pattern, and both pictures are the same swatch. It's just different sides of the same swatch. So I find that very interesting to... I know that there are reversible cables. I've seen that done. And there's a way you do it in ribbing to make that happen. But like this with the detail on the back, I would never...
It's totally different,
I would never have thought that those two are the same swatch. And she also shows on the next page how you can do things in 2 colors and still with cables and still keep that reversibility. So I think that's intriguing.
I really like the Steal the Scarf pattern from that chapter.
Yes.
I think that's an interesting take on cables that are totally different.
I like this
and then the
courtyard
back
drape, which is a wrap. And on one side you've got these cables that pop out of the background color. And the other side is just a very plain look to it. So I like this.
And then there's double knitting, which has a very cool hat pattern in it that's double knit. You can see both sides are different size stripes, which is very cool. And then the double take cowl, where it's solid on one side and striped on the other. Also very cool.
I like this sweet treat scarf where it's window boxes on one side and just the outline of the boxes on the other in the opposite color. I like that. That is the double knitting that I have experience with. And it gives a nice thick fabric.
Yeah. And then the last section is modular knitting. I like that scarf, which is the first impression scarf.
Yeah, so it's
garter, knit on the bias.
Stitches. But it is fully reversible.
So very neat stuff in that section as well. I like the variety of techniques she uses in this book. It's not just all double knitting. It's not just all reversible cables. It's a wide variety of things. So it can appeal to all levels, which I really like. And that is Iris Schreier's Reversible Knits, put out by Lark. And Lark did send us this copy to review. So thank you so much, Lark. And it retails for $14.95 in the US. So very neat. Different things. I like different things every once in a while.
Yeah, and I there are some things in there that I had never seen. I've never seen cables like that where they're totally different cable pattern on the other side. It's intriguing.
It's very inspiring, especially from a designer standpoint.
I would agree with that.
All right, so that was our book review. We have a bunch of favorite things this week.
We are gluttonous pigs.
That's very true.
And we have lots of friends who dye pretty things. So,
also true.
So we'll start with Mustache. Mustache Girl. Stacy, yes, Free Flower was what was in my head, and I was like, that's not her name, that's her Rav name.
And her Ravelry name is Free Flower. She's one of two people. Steph and Stacy host the Mustache Knit podcast, and if you haven't seen it, you definitely should. They are very funny. And Stacy has begun dyeing yarn, so she is so kind to send us each a scan of her brand new yarn. And I love her tags. I think they're gorgeous.
I do too. And I love when the QR code is on the back. That's smart.
Yes. She has a big cartel shop.
Mine is a 6-striper, and it's called Candy Crush. And I'm at the point on both of my Candy Crush games. I play one on my phone and one on my tablet, where I'm at the unlock more levels if you pay more money, or you have to wait a day. So
yeah.
This is 6 stripers, and it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 460 yards, and I'm excited to give this sucker a try. So,
and mine is the 10 Days of Fiesta, so it's a little bit more. Leslie's is more primary, and mine's more secondary colors. On the Candy Crush thing, I had to stop. I'm taking 2 days off because I was dreaming about Candy Crush. But that's a sign to me that I need to stop. I don't know, and I'm not going to look for you because 80. That involves picking up that tablet. I think I'm on 79. I don't know.
Anyway.
But I hate the chocolate, and I'm refusing to play it for a while. I need a break.
But
it's
Stacey
cutting into my knitting time. No, she is not. And she's got gorgeous yarn. I'm really interested. This has a very nice high twist to it. So I think this might be... So socks that I still have on my needles that I have not worked on forever is I have socks that I'm knitting for Leslie, actually. That's not a surprise. She knows they're going to her. They're the worm colorway from Sadie. And it's not that I don't like them. They just live in my purse, and I might get like one row knit on them a week, so I haven't been showing them to y'all. I need to show you next week.
Plus, it's not like she's in a hurry. She's not going to see me again until Thanksgiving, so.
Yeah, so therefore she gets no priority in knitting anymore. But her birthday is come and gone, and she gets nothing.
I did get something.
Yes. Anyway, so I think this might be, well, I want to do Halloween socks. I got some Kirby Werby Halloween, and I got that gorgeous color wheel yarn that are sitting in my stash. This stuff that I bought a couple weeks ago. See, now I'm on a divergent thing, but
I'm getting the impression that you like rainbows.
Shut your mouth. Leslie and I had this whole conversation. So I love the yarn that Jasmine at the Knit Wars is knitting on right now.
And Susan B. Anderson too now.
And Susan B. Anderson.
Fibers on Etsy, I think.
from Great Britain, but here's the deal. I might have 10 skeins of rainbow self-strapping. Maybe. So I need I need to knit some before I buy more.
Probably should.
Because really, it's so pretty. How could you resist? But really, I have to knit some. And all, like, those are two gorgeous rainbows. But I also have a ton of Halloween stuff that I need to knit. So I need to knit. That's the thing. Like, this week has been, oh my gosh, I want to knit all the things.
Yeah, I thought about casting on several things, and I just haven't yet.
I have 2 sweater swatches sitting here that I need to cast on. Like, so many things to knit. Not enough time. Darn you, work.
Speaking of stuff that we need to knit, but we don't have enough time, Steve of Dramatic Knits. I haven't spoken to Steve since I got this, which was only a couple days ago. But I just want to say he totally nailed our color. Like, nailed it, nailed it, nailed it.
I hope he offers this in the shop so y'all can buy it, because it is so pretty.
And this is Leading Men Fiber Arts. And his shop is relatively new. And this is in the Showstopper base, 463 yards, and Let's Hear It for the Girls.
Which is a song. Well, Let's Hear It from the Boys is from Footloose.
But I love this so much, and it's shop.leadingmenfiberarts.com. And we both got the same color, and it's perfect.
I feel like the lights are really fading it out a little bit. It's got like some dark red.
Yeah.
It's so pretty. So there's this dark red going into fuchsia, going into that dark purple. So it is gorgeous, and it's also 463 yards of a fingering.
This is a pretty good color accuracy right here.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I feel like that it looks like it's fading out a little bit on the bottom, but mine is not that way at all.
It's a purple and a fuchsia and a lighter pinky red.
Yeah, there's that like wine color in there. So pretty. So thank you, Steve.
Let's Hear It for the Girls. It's definitely going
and
on
he
the
just did a
fall, but
I know.
Project.
So I'm gonna start Miss Winkle, and I'm torn because my original plan was this.
Pretty.
Be very loud and awesome, and it's another crafty girl. But now I'm like, oh, maybe I'll have to knit two. Jessica knit one in 1 week, which means that I can totally knit one in a week. Competitive Laura is competitive.
You are very competitive, but it is one of the many reasons that we love you. I also got a package from my friend Amy Beth. And I've showed you guys before, there is a pattern that I want to knit, and I don't have my tablet down here, but I'll link it. It's called Delancey, and let me just pull it up on my phone. I'm sorry, I'm going to be really flippin' annoying and be that person that pulls something up on her phone. But anyway, it's a pattern that the original design went up to like a 42.
It's got lines that go this way, correct?
Yeah, it's kind of knit sort of on the bias. And I gifted it to Venetian Beauty a couple months ago, and we're going to do it in September, and I still want to do it in September. I just haven't. I was waiting on my contrast yarn. Now I've got my contrast yarn, so this is what it looks like. Here we go. This is a picture of the front and the back. So it's this striped number, and because of the way that the stripes are, I didn't want anything quite that contrasty. So I knew I wanted to use my Fat Squirrel fibers. This I got probably during her first update, or maybe second update. And this is Medallion Red. And this is in her Superwash BFL base. And I wanted to use this, but I wanted a contrast, and I wanted to use the same base. So I've been going back and forth with Amy Beth for weeks to try to figure out what color to use, because I tend to err on the side of, you're the dyer, I trust you, just pick something. I don't care. You send me the bill. I'll pay for it. But we'd gone back and forth, and finally I said, well, maybe just a darker sort of bluer red, so that it would stand out, but it wouldn't be like in your face.
Yeah.
So she dyed up for me Leslie is a Lush in the same base, and I've got 2 skeins of this and 7 or 8 of this, so it'll be different, but it won't be so in your face, and that makes me happy. So
I'll be more subtle.
Once I finish owls, then this will go on the needles, and I'm super excited about it. I don't plan to have this one done by Rhinebeck at all. Maybe I'll work on it at Rhinebeck. I don't know. The owls I plan to have done by Rhinebeck. But I just love Leslie is a lush. What can I say?
Hilarious.
And to round out our wool piggery, my friend Sadie has a shop, Knitter's Nightmare, and she is a sweetheart and wanted to dye me a present. So for my birthday, there's this song, and it's by Amanda Palmer, and it's called In My Mind. And if you're having a crappy day, you should go to YouTube and look her up, Amanda Palmer, In My Mind. And basically it's just about accepting you for you and not, giving up those unrealistic expectations. And so she dyed me a colorway based on the lyrics. Tulips and vegetables it's a part of the lyrics. And it's this beautiful, crazy stripe. And I love it so, so much.
That's going to be so much fun.
And she did have it in her shop. So it is a colorway that she'll sell as well. And I wanted to, it was so special because it was just very thoughtful. So I wanted to do something besides socks, because socks just go on your feet and blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to go on my feet. So then I thought, oh, well, maybe I'll design something, and I could do Fair Isle, and so the orange would be carrots, and the red would be flowers, and and that's a great idea, except it would never be workable for another dyer because stripes vary, like the widths vary and gauge varies. So now I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I want to use it. I want to cast it on now, but I just have to find the right
How about some fingerless mitts?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like some end papers with the contrast. I've got a contrast like charcoal gray, and then a contrast like silver gray. So I just have to swatch with a couple of things and see, but it's special.
Jane Mucklestone has Mucklestone has a great new book that's Fair Isle motifs, but she also has another book that's Fair Isle. Like the new one's, I think, Scandinavian motifs, but the older one is just Fair Isle motifs.
I've spent
some good inspiration.
More time than I care to talk about looking up patterns, so I just have to settle on one. But this will be on the needles by next week.
Cool.
I'm super excited. And it is getting warm under these lights. So, Halloween craft along. We already have like a dozen or 2 dozen finished objects in there. It's crazy.
So cool. And so things to remember with the Halloween craft along is there is a cheddar thread and a finished object thread, and both are awesome. You can cheddar in one, you cannot cheddar in the other. And you can put in as many things as you craft as you want. So if you want to just do one, that's fine. If you want to do a dozen, if you want to do 2 dozen, go for it. So I've gotten that question a lot. Just go for it. See what you want.
You can sell it to us as Halloween related.
Yep. And the Harry Potter House Cup has a Halloween prompt this month. All things that are awesome. I think I'm going to put my clap in there, because it's pretty Halloween. Looks like witches.
You could say, so the colorway in English
or
is
ogre boogies.
So you could say it reminds you of the caterpillar on Alice in Wonderland, and Alice in Wonderland makes you think of Halloween because you dressed up as a character once or something. See? This is how loose it is.
Or you could say it looks like ogre boogies. And that works too.
Yeah, that's true. Or
the drop stitches look like a spider web.
There are many ways to sell it to us.
There are. So that's going to be lots of fun. Halloween Cal goes from September 1st, so anything you started from September 1st on to October 31st.
We'll have some cool prizes and stuff to give away.
The Knotted Bag's going to do a bag for us. That's one that we definitely have. I am going to maybe spin for a prize, I think, and we're going to have lots of cool stuff.
Well, I have no doubt we'll have plenty of stuff to give away.
Oh, yes.
There's a Craftsy sale.
There is! I may have taken part in purchasing things during the Craftsy sale. I got the designing cable designs. Designing with Cables by Fiona Ellis. I picked that up. I think it was $14.99. There are classes ranging from $9.99 to $29.99. Some are up to 75% off, and their yarn and goodies like that are also 75% off.
And they've expanded, so now they're doing like cooking, painting. I know there's weaving on there.
Photography, like portrait photography as well as landscape photography. They're doing fine arts now, too.
So we encourage you to go and check them out. And if you don't mind, click on the link through our blog on TheKnitGirlls.com. We are a Craftsy affiliate, so we get a teeny tiny portion if you guys click through our link. We appreciate it very much. And even if you don't, we still encourage you to take Craftsy classes because they're very worthwhile.
I agree.
And you
think
get
they're
access
fun.
to them forever. So.
Yep. And you can take them at your pace, which is very awesome. And you can go back and see the same thing over and over and over again. And even if you just do one of their free classes, like I have their pizza making class and one of their sewing classes that was free, just hanging out. Or if I decide that I want to do that, if I want to make pizza this week, I might do that class. I might make pizza this week. That sounds delicious. So I made pizza fondue this week, which was also delicious.
Which was marinara sauce with melted cheese and bread. Don't make it sound fancier than it is, because it is not.
It's totally fancy. You could add other toppings, like if you're a pepperoni person, you could add chunks of pepperoni in it too. It's delicious. Stop messing with me. We used to make it in Girl Scouts all the time.
No, I was never in Girl Scouts.
Mama Linneman was my leader for a while.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
Then she left me to go be Becky's leader. She abandoned me for her youngest. See how she is? So beyond the Craftsy sale, I got a new ebook, which is super cool. It is called Adventure Knitting. It is by Lethal Knits. It is a Ravelry download, although you can buy the hard back as well. And it's kind of like a choose your own adventure knitting pattern, which I think is very, very cool. So I wanted to talk about that. It's a Lee Meredith, does all those. She's got tons of collections, but this is her new one. And she actually has a thing in there where you can make it, like if you get the ebook, where you can print it out and create your own, like choose your own adventure book. So I am definitely going to be knitting some stuff out of that. It is a pattern for, let's see.
There's a hat.
Let's see if I can. A hat,
mitts.
2 mitts.
There's a coffee cup cozy. And a cowl, I think.
Yep, and it retails for $14. I don't know if I've already said that, but like you have to just go and look at the book cover. It's A Day in the Woods, and it looks just like a choose your own adventure. It makes my little geeky librarian heart sing.
Lee Meredith always does great instructions and ways to modify.
They come in various sizes too, so it's got a little bit of math to it. It's not for the faint of heart, and it's a lot of like modular knitting and short row knitting, but very little seaming.
I think it's just
so
a
if
cool
you hate
approach.
seaming,
it's
it'll be
something
fun
new in the knitting world. So.
Oh yeah, she's got lots of fun, and the illustrations in it are hilarious. So I highly recommend checking that out. Other things that we had to discuss. Spinzilla. Spinzilla is a month away.
Yep. So
yay!
Our team is full. In fact, it was so full because there was apparently a glitch in the system, the sign-up system, that there were too many people on our team. And rather than us asking someone to leave, which we felt would be rude, Laura and I
both felt bad, yeah.
Abstaining from participating or abstaining from counting our yardage towards the goal. We'll still be there. We'll still be cheering you on. We'll still be competing because we love to
participating,
win.
Yeah.
But we're going to count our yardage towards
troops.
Our team, our knit girls, alongside.
We're going to do a knit along alongside on the Knit Girls group. They offered us the opportunity to join another team.
I don't think they understood where we were going.
We're like, no, you don't understand. No, that's not going to happen.
So, yeah, we've got all of our team members. We'll post a listing of all of our team members. In fact, I'll take that and do that this week. so everybody knows, you know, that they're on the team, and maybe we'll start doing some prep work and
Yeah.
maybe set some goals for each person, not like, you know, we'll see. But yeah, we are going to
Maybe do a
thread
flasher
in our group
stash.
alongside,
Yeah.
because people outside of the U.S. weren't able to participate. So we want to be able to do something, you know, at the same time with all of our international folks that want to play. So.
Yep. That'll be fun. And that's coming up. That's the week of October 17th, which is the week of Rhinebeck.
It's before, right.
Okay, it's right before Rhinebeck.
It's 2 Wednesdays before Rhinebeck up until a Wednesday before Rhinebeck. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the week
Cool.
before, so it won't be the same time as Rhinebeck. Yeah, so I'm excited about that, and I'm going to do some long draw for Spinzilla, so.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
I'm stoked. You had an adventure, apparently.
So I went to grab some size 7 needles I keep all my circular needles in a big accordion folder, like bank folder. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing a test knit for a friend, which I can't show y'all, so I didn't even bring it up here or mention it prior to this. And I needed size 7 needles, and I needed 16-inch. And I went in my little thing, and there were no size 7 needles at all. Which, you understand how many needles I have. So that was like, huh. So my first hunts I've been throwing all my needles. Like, so when I get them out of a project, I just throw them in a bag. And so it's one big bag. So I went through, that was the first step. I went through that bag, and there were no size 7 needles in there. But I saw those needles and put them in their little pouches, their Eddie pouches, and I put them back where they go.
That's good.
So yeah, it was around 30 sets of needles. So I haven't done this. I do this like twice a year maybe, but I've never run out where it's been like, oh my gosh, I don't have any needles. I need to find them. So then the next search was I went into every single project bag that I had finished projects. So every single project bag got cleaned out, and I found 2 size 1 16-inch needles, but no other needles. But I found lots of tags. So I cleaned all those out, and I put them nice and neat. I have so one of the big Tangerine Design sweater bags, that's where my unused bags live. So they went all back in their little home, and they're all happy, and I still had no size 7 needles. So then I went downstairs, and there was 1 size 7 16-inch needle sitting next to my lamp, like where I knit at night. So everything got cleaned up. Apparently there are size, I think this actually has a size 7 needle in it. I think that's what's being used on there. So there's a 16-inch in there in the log cabin, and I ripped out some more projects. I'm trying to rip out like a project a week or finish a project a week from long-term stash, like long-term UFO bin. So we'll see how effective that is.
Show us your UFOs one day.
I'm ripping them all out. So there will be none to show. Maybe next week I'll show 1 or 2. Or 3.
You should show them all. We could make it a
that would be like
show.
A 4-hour show.
So people would know going in.
And then there's some shawls that have size 7s on them, but they're the longer ones. So apparently I only had 2 16-inch size 7s.
Don't you have interchangeable sets that you could use?
I do, but they're not 16-inch.
Oh.
So I have the one that I need. All my interchangeables are 24 or longer. I did have a 20-inch size 7 that I found too. That's actually my favorite size 7. Like 20 inches are my favorite, actually, to knit hats on. But
just knit whatever's there.
Adult
magic
hats.
loop it. Like, it doesn't bother me.
I don't like magic looping hats. I go faster if I just knit. So that was the Great Needle Hunt of 2013.
Oh.
It had to have a title because that makes it sound more interesting and fun.
Snazzy.
Like it had jazz hands going on. Really, it was me just tearing stuff apart, making a bigger mess, trying to find needles.
That's what Michael, my significant other, was supposed to have a friend come into town this weekend. They were going to go into Philly and see an NFL game. And he ended up not being able to come because his dad fell ill, but...
Did Michael still go to the game?
No.
Really?
Michael doesn't go places by himself.
That would have been so much. That makes me hurt her. I would have gone with
He
Michael.
just doesn't do stuff like that by himself.
I would have flown up.
But
that was a good game too.
you're making me lose my train of thought. Hush. He was cleaning. That's where I was going with it. He was cleaning, and I have learned you do not disturb a man that cleans. You just let him, you just let him do his thing.
Yeah.
But I was trying to watch a show. I was sitting on my ass, and he was cleaning. And I was like, could you keep it down, please? So now our house is nice and well, upstairs anyway, it's nice and clean. Down here, it's still a pigsty because I'm the only one that comes down here. So, anyhow, we have SSK news.
We do.
So if you're not interested in SSK, totally understand. We won't keep you any longer, and we'll see you next week. Okay, so we're just going to smush this little thing in between all the crap we talked about, and then before SSK stuff.
So favorite things, and then SSK, and then contests. So we forgot that we have a contest to give away, because Leslie and I are poor planners. And then...
Well, okay.
Yes, we are. So we have the color wheel yarn in the Pumpkin Fields colorway. And it is a 6 self-striper. And honestly, I went to her shop like 3 times this week in clothes. She's got some really pretty Halloween colors that I really want, but I'm being good. So this is an 80/20 BFL nylon. It's a limited base. It's 408 yards, and it's thin stripes of brown between thick stripes of colors. And she did have this also in her shop to purchase. And that is the color wheel yarn on Etsy. You see that?
And we asked people what their favorite thing about fall was. And we had 412 entries, so it was between the numbers 2 and 413. So I'm going to push generate.
Dun, dun, dun.
Number 30.
30, that's on page 2.
Yes.
I can do simple math.
There we go.
And the winner is You Love Gnats. I love her like little frog thing. Her favorite thing about fall is the foliage all turning color. I love how the greens all turn to orange, yellow, and red. Beautiful. I also love getting to wear my knitting and scarves.
This is true.
I love scarves. I love scarves too. And that is Natalie, and she just joined our group this past week, I think. And
cool.
She is from Indianapolis, Indiana. I know that because she posted in the Spill the Beans thread, because she's looking for knitting groups in the Indianapolis area. So if you're in the Indianapolis area and you want to get together with Natalie, I feel like a dating service.
We're matchmakers.
You totally should, because she seems like a very cool person. She's 23 and crochets and knits, and she needs people to do it with. So help her find a group, because she would be awesome. All right. So Natalie, contact me. Lala and Ravelry, and PM me your address and real name, and I will be sending this your way. That's so exciting. I like it when new people, new to the group people win. I like it when anyone wins. It's so much fun.
So for this week's giveaway, we have 4 copies of the unofficial Harry Potter knits, and this is put out by Interweave. And we're going to set aside 3 copies for our international people, because you can't currently buy this internationally. And 1 copy for domestic in the U.S.
So are we going to do 2 different threads?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll do 2 different threads, and from the international thread, we'll pick 3 winners. From the domestic U.S. thread, we'll pick 1 winner.
And you only get 1 entry. And so just a reminder of how our contests work. We do them on our Ravelry group, which is the Knit Girls on www.ravelry.com.
Which is a free site. If you don't belong to it and you're a knitter or a crafter, you should.
So awesome. Much fun. You can come join the thousands of us in the Knit Girls group, because it's fun. And we're going to hit 5,000 soon. I'm very excited about that.
That's pretty awesome.
It makes me very happy. It's a great group. Anyway, that's
so
where
Laura
we
decided the way that you enter for this.
So I'm doing a lot of book cataloging at work, where I sit and put covers and barcodes and other fun, random, boring things, processing things on books. And I want to be entertained after school when I'm doing this when the kids are gone. So what I think you should do is do a dance video party for me. So what you do is you post from YouTube or whatever site you can. I can get YouTube at work though. A video of your favorite music video. So I'll have earphones so no one will be able to hear but me. But that'll keep me company and keep me from being bored. And really, it's all about me.
And we'll leave this open for 1 week. 1 entry per person. You must be a member of the group. No chatter in the contest thread. And one of the beautiful patterns in this book is the Jenny cardigan.
Love that pattern.
And I saw Patty's hand spun Jenny cardigan today on Instagram, and it was beautiful.
Oh, cool.
So there's a lot of great patterns in this book, in this magazine, which my mailman kind of bent. Sorry. But anyhow, we'll put the contest threads up on the group, and like Laura said, you can post a link to your favorite YouTube video. If you're savvy enough to insert the video, more power to you. And we appreciate you guys bearing with us while we insert this, because we forgot. So now we're going to pretend like nothing happened.
That's true.
And past Leslie and past Laura are going to talk about SSK.
We're going back in time.
If you are interested in SSK, we'll go ahead and talk about it now. We did open our vendor applications last week. We have them open for 1 more week. So if you are interested, or you know someone who is interested in vending, they can fill out the application on the website, supersummerknittogether.com. And there's a attendee lottery, and there's a vendor application in there. But anyhow, we'll link it on the site.
Yep.
In the show notes. We're going to open the attendee lottery this week, tomorrow, Monday, and we'll leave it open for, what did we say, 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So it is not first come, first served. Do not stalk. Don't worry about any of that. You have 2 weeks. It has no impact on when you, on your ability to get in, because it is lottery style. Because
my 6th graders pick numbers.
Yeah, we have been very lucky in that in the past couple of years we've had way more people who wanted to come than we had spots to come. So we have to do a waiting list. It's the only way that's fair. We do have some changes this week, and I do want to talk about the accommodations as well.
This year, yes.
So, this year, you're correct. Sorry.
This week, too.
So, we have our event at Scarrett Bennett, which is, it used to be a
college.
Not missionary. That's
yeah, but it was a college for people who were going into missionary type
and
positions.
studying religion. It has no
Theology.
religious base now, but that's what it served in previous years. It is a nonprofit. All the money that they collect that goes above and beyond their expenses goes towards nonprofit activities that primarily support women and who have been the victims of domestic abuse or other very targeted services for women, which we are in support of, obviously, so that's why we keep it there. The accommodations are very dorm style. They're very basic. It's not the Ritz. You have Wi-Fi.
You have a
bed, access to a shower, toilet that's shared between 2 rooms. It's not like a big, huge...
So you have your room that you're sleeping in with a bed and a dresser maybe and a desk. Yeah. And then you share a bathroom with someone who's connected on the other side.
So it's kind of like sibling bathroom. That's what it was called. What I remember it as is there's a brother room, a sister room, and they're connected by a bathroom. So all the rooms this year will be doubles.
Singles, right? It's like you in a room by yourself.
Yes, you're correct. I'm sorry.
It's just 2 rooms connected by a bathroom.
Correct.
That's all it is. Every single room will be like that.
You are correct.
That's why I make the big bucks.
You're awesome. So it's a single bed, usually a twin bed, connected by bathroom to another room with a twin bed. So at most, it'll be 2 of you sharing a room. We have had in the past where it's been 2 twins connected to a room with 1 twin, so it's been 3 people sharing a bathroom. All those rooms are going away next year. Those aren't available anymore. They're revamping them, and actually some of the rooms are being taken out of general population, so we don't have access to as many rooms as we did previously. And that is Laura's cat yowling. That is not a child in pain. So,
He's being a jerk. He slept until like 5 minutes ago. And now he's like, hey, what you
Pay
doing?
attention. Okay, so SSK. We wanted to make everybody aware of the arrangements. It is very basic. It is no frills. You do have Wi-Fi. That's it. And because the number of rooms that we are getting is actually cut this year, we are adding more day passer spots.
Day pass.
So as a day passer, if that's the lottery you choose to enter, you would get every single thing that a regular on-site attendee gets except lodging. You get meals, you get a goodie bag, you get access to teachers, you get into all of the events.
So let's go over so if you are staying on campus and the cost of that is $575.
Right, we brought it down from last year because of how we're doing teachers, which we'll explain in a little bit.
Okay. So you get access to one class.
Mm-hmm.
You have lodging Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. You have breakfast and lunch on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and breakfast on Sunday.
Yes, we're serving you breakfast before you have to go.
Yep. You have snacks on
Thursday,
Wednesday too, because we do like cupcakes usually.
Right. Wednesday,
so
Thursday,
Wednesday,
Friday, and Saturday.
Thursday, Friday,
snacks
Saturday.
are provided at no cost to you. You have access to hang out on the site and do any of the events that we do. If we do tasting room again, you'll get into that. There's no cost for that.
We're going to do tasting room again. Yeah. Any breakout sessions.
Right. Any of the stuff that we do. And we try to change it up a little bit every year. So it may not be exactly like it was last year. There may be some more stuff. You can get into the welcome and goodbye reception with the ability to do door prizes. We are revamping some of the door prize stuff for this year. We'll talk more about that later on. And a goodie bag, of course. You get a goodie bag. And we put a lot of thought into the goodie bags, so we try to make them useful as well as cool. So the only thing that as a day passer you would not get is lodging. So you could either stay with someone who's local, you could be a local yourself, you could stay if you prefer fancier accommodations where you get, 17 pillows and a TV. That's totally fine. I respect that. You just have to stay somewhere besides Scarrett Bennett. So the day passer costs have gone up since last year, and in the interest of being completely honest, they're going up because day passers weren't charged the cost of the event rental itself, like the cost of renting the buildings last year, and this year we have to pass some of that on to day passers. So the day passers are $350. You provide your own lodging. Everything else we provide for you.
Yep.
The on-site people, it'll be $575. We provide everything. And for both groups, we don't provide dinner any night. Dinner is on your own.
Yep, which is fun. There's so many cool places. And you can make it as expensive or as cheap as you want. So if you want to do Subway every night, you can do Subway every night. If you want to go to a grocery store and bring your groceries, there's a fridge in each common room. There are common rooms on each floor.
For hanging out later if you want to. So we try to be as flexible as possible. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them before you enter the lottery. We'll be happy to answer them for you.
Yep.
We have a separate group, Super Summer Knit Together group, or you can ask them in the Knit Girls group, whatever's easier. Either Laura, myself, or anybody who's been there before can probably answer any questions you have.
And those groups are both on Ravelry.
Yes. We try to keep everything on Ravelry because it's a great place to keep everything centralized.
There is a blog for the Super Summer Knit Together. It is www.supperknitogethher.com.
And we'll put a link in there for lottery entry. And the way that we do payments is we'll set dates and we'll tell you what those dates are when you get accepted.
There's $100 due down
as a deposit, and that is non-refundable. Everything above that $100 is refundable if for some reason you have to back out.
Until
like a month before the event.
Yeah.
The teachers this year, this is
the best part.
Yes, I think so. We are doing it a little different. So you guys know how much we love to sort of introduce you to new indie dyers or vendors or cool,
promote new businesses.
Right. So we try to do that as much as we can with products. So now we're going to try to do that with teachers as well. So we're sort of doing it as a co-op, and we're doing half and half. So half really well-known teachers that you've heard of and maybe you've been wanting to take a class from, and half teachers you may not know who they are, but you're going to be really grateful that you've had the time to, or the opportunity
you get
to
take an opportunity to sit and know them before they become famous, because they're going to become famous.
We think that we've picked some really good people this year. So the two people that you probably already know. So the first is Laura Nelkin, who is wonderful, and she teaches all over the world. She's got craftsy class. She does a lot of beading specific patterns, but she also does all sorts of mystery knit-alongs and
lace knit-alongs, a lot of lace as well. She was Schaefer's in-house designer for a good bit of time.
Yeah, she's really, really nice and a great teacher, and we're stoked to have the opportunity to have her come to our event next year. So she is one of our teachers next year. Do you want to talk about our other teacher?
Sure. Our other teacher is best known for her Knit to Flatter series. She is Amy Herzog.
Yep.
She also has a craftsy class and a book. She's lots of fun. Leslie took a class from her, and we met both her and Laura at TNNA. And she just took a big jump. She is now only self-employed as a knitting instructor and author and designer. So that's very cool, and we're very happy for her.
She does a lot of fit-specific classes, so how to make things fit your body, no matter what that body looks like, and flatter that body. So yep. I took her class at Fiberspace in DC, and it was wonderful, and I cannot wait for you guys to take her class. I think that you'll love it as well.
And then our next two teachers, really, they were breakout session teachers who did such a fabulous job that we wanted to have them. I'm sorry, I just moved to space. Like, I put my elbow down. That cannot happen. That we wanted to have teach for us. So they are Lori of Deerfield Creations. Her Ravelry name is Flutterby's. She is an amazing supported spindler, and she is going to be teaching both a beginning supported spindler class and an intermediate supported spindling class. So if you already know how to spin and you want to get into supported spindling, there's a class for that, and then there's just a true beginner class.
We'll introduce you to what a spindle is, what fiber is, and what to do with them.
Yes, a supported spindle. Right. Yep. And then the other instructor is Malia of the Yarn Raising podcast. Her Ravelry name is Rhymes with Maria. And she is going to be teaching a beginning drop spindling class and an intermediate drop spindling class as well. She's doing something cool with basically bringing different types of spindles and different types of fibers and let you play with them to see, you know, what match might work for you. But she also has a very approachable way of teaching, and I learned things just watching her show. Like, just things that she says both of those people are super approachable.
It's very easy to learn from her, and we heard wonderful things from people about both of these ladies' classes. So we're sort of co-oping them to be teachers, and we may add more co-op teachers. We'll see. It just depends on sort of where the interest lies. So we're really happy with that. We're glad that we can, because teachers are a significant portion of the overhead for SSK. So we're glad that we can do what we can to bring the cost down just a little bit to help everybody out, because we want it to be as approachable as possible to everyone. But we also want to
still have good quality teachers as well.
They definitely, just because they aren't well known does not mean they are not worth your time. I am hoping to sit in on both of those classes. So, and we did want to say that we are aware that our particular retreat is not every single person's ideal retreat, and it shouldn't be. Everybody is different. So we welcome you to look for other ones if staying in a dorm style place is not for you. I totally get that. And there's no ill will there. So, but we hope that you're interested, and we will put up the lottery entries tomorrow, the 16th. Yes, the 16th. Yep. and it'll be open for 2 weeks, so do not feel like you have to rush. And what we'll do is after those 2 weeks are up, we'll take a week or so because we have to compile all that information and then do random number generation and go through, and
we'll try to get it up as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'll say that within 2 weeks we'll let you know. Hopefully it'll be shorter than that, but we want to give ourselves the time that we may need because we do both have full-time jobs. So things that we need
knitting
to pay
has not paid the bills yet. Yeah.
So we're stoked. We hope that you guys are excited. We got a lot of really good feedback, really useful feedback on our survey. So we appreciate if you took the time to go and fill out the post-SSK survey. If you didn't...
There was just a book avalanche that happened in the corner.
Uh-oh.
I just kicked over. Now it's all school books.
Umberto's up to no good.
Yep. Like normal.
So...
He is a hurricane, after all.
I'll feel free to ask any questions in this week's episode thread because I've gone through it in my head, but I don't know if everything that was in my head came out of my mouth. So if I forgot anything, please feel free to ask. That's pretty much all I've got. Do you have anything else?
No, I'm just really excited that SSK is going to get started for 2014. It's always such a fun event. We have a good time with it.
You didn't say the dates. The dates are July the 16th through July the 20th of 2014.
That's kind of important.
Sorry, forgot about that.
Fabulous.
But yeah, those are the dates. Vendors we're still taking applications, so we'll announce that later.
Yeah.
Any other questions, please feel free to ask them. We will be happy to answer them for you. And that's it for this week.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Y'all have a good one. Hope Humberto doesn't destroy anything over there.
Good luck with that.
And we'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.